I'll just show you the anchorage again. Yeah, so it was really quite windy when I arrived here last night, wind coming off the land, so the sea was pretty flat, but it wasn't that comfortable a night, if I'm honest. It was a little bit rolly. The wind's calmed down now. It's just after 5 in the morning. Beautiful sunrise over there, look. And I think we're going to have a nice day. Yeah, absolutely beautiful here, and completely deserted. Just a few little houses over there. Well, not so little houses over there even. But yeah, I mean, he used the Anchor Watch app, so there was some moving around, but basically the anchor held fine, and I got some sleep. So yeah, be setting off again in about half an hour for Weymouth, Portland and or Weymouth. Let's give you a little view from the bow. A bit rolly. There is no point putting the mainsail up because it'll just flop and flap around, so yeah. Start of Line Bay going around there, disappearing off into the distance. Making about 6 knots at the moment, so the time of arrivals come down to about 5 o'clock this afternoon, which should be very nice. I've just come to sit up here at the front of the boat for a little while to get some sun and a little bit of respite from the engine noise. It's about 10 o'clock now, 10 o'clock in the morning, so about 4 hours in, and we're about somewhere between a third and a half way across Lyme Bay, probably closer to a third of the way across. Rolly, as you can tell. Trying to keep the camera level with the horizon, so you get an idea of how the boat's moving. It's not easy, but it's giving me something to do. Trying to think of this in a way as a delivery trip, really, because these long legs where all you're doing is just motor sailing, a bit of a grind, really, in a way. Not that it's not enjoyable, but yeah, so if you sort of think of it as a delivery trip, it's kind of would that I had all the time in the world to just sail around the coast a little bit. I keep seeing keep looking over towards the coast and seeing there's always a few sailboats out and about close by to the coast. But yeah, these sort of where you do a long leg and do as much as you can in a day. It's just putting the miles in, it's just getting the miles done. So yeah, not the most pleasurable thing in the world, but you know, I'm not complaining. Mustn't grumble, etc. Have a little view from the mast, from the bow even. Where I was sat, just down there, just at the foot of the mast. You can see the wind's died down again. The sea's very calm. The mainsail's just flopping about. I think the wind is due to pick up this afternoon though, so yeah, hopefully we will get a little bit of sailing in. I think I'm in the doldrums, literally, not metaphorically. I've been becalmed. Halfway across Lyme Bay and I'm becalmed. I've taken the mainsail down, it was flogging and flapping, and I can't do with the mainsail flogging and flapping. I don't know how some people manage to just leave them up there all the time. Anyway, I've taken it down. I'll tell you why they leave it up there. Because it's a faff to take it down, that's why. I'm going to get some, or I'm going to make some lazy jacks, so that when I drop the mainsail, it's not so much of a performance dealing with it. Anyway, yeah, there we are. No pigeons on this trip, no dolphins on this trip so far. let's see what this afternoon brings. Little update then. We're about 4.5 hours now from Portland Bill. That time will come down a bit because the tide is just about on the turn now. The sea has calmed down quite a lot. It's been the last few hours. It's been a bit of a roller coaster ride really. There's not enough wind to make any decent progress with full sails. So what I've been doing is motoring. I've got about 2/3 of a Genoa up at the moment, just for a bit of stability. The full Genoa even wasn't working because there wasn't enough wind to fill it. So yeah, it's just been a bit of a balancing act really to try and keep the speed up against the tide and against the sea. Yeah, it's been not a very pleasant couple of hours if I'm honest. But things have just begun to calm down a bit now. And the tide is just about to start to turn. So yeah, we'll pick up a bit more speed, and then if this wind carries on, if it's a light northerly wind basically, if this wind carries on, the anchorage should be quite comfortable. So yeah, that's where we are. Yeah, the other thing I've had to sort of bear in mind quite a lot today as well is, I don't know if you can see that there's a sailboat coming towards me there. The other thing I've had to bear in mind is I'm on a port tack at the moment. And these guys coming towards me are all on a starboard tack, which means that if we're on a collision course, it's me that has to take avoiding action. So I've had to do that a couple of times. Not that we've been anywhere near colliding or anything like that, it's just like we may have been if I hadn't have altered course. So yeah, that's just another thing that's sort of come up today really. So I've just altered course 10 degrees to port, just to make sure that there's no danger of being on a collision course with that one that's coming this way at the moment. And the other thing that's kind of reassuring in a way, I suppose, is that everybody else seems to be motor sailing today as well. Or certainly at the moment everybody's motor sailing. Whether you're going east or whether you're going west. It's about the third one that I've seen doing exactly the same thing, bashing into the waves. Look, I don't know how well you can see that on the video, but he's having the gentleman over there, a little bit like myself, is having a little bit of a roller coaster ride. I'll zoom in and see. He's probably just too unsteady. But yeah, he's having a bit of a roller coaster ride as well. There's another one over there going in the same direction as me. Motor sailing again. I mean, you should never assume that just because somebody else is doing something, it's the right thing to do or the best thing to do. But it gives you an indication. It gives you a clue. It gives you a clue what was going on. The anchorage. Yeah, it still a bit roller coaster. Still a bit roller coastery. I'm just trying to pay attention to what's going on whilst filming. The anchorage last night, where there was nobody else there, and I'd never been before. The first few hours, I was a bit sort of hyper aware of anything amiss, sort of hyper aware of whether or not I was dragging or anything like that. The anchor was dragging. That all turned out okay in the end. Weymouth anchorage is supposed to be pretty good. It's very gradual increase or decrease in depth, whatever. and I've read that you're free to anchor anywhere right up to where the swimming markers, the swimming marker buoys are. So yeah, hopefully that'll be all right, but we'll see in 5 or 6 hours time. Here's another one. Keep going west, motor sailing. I don't know if you noticed, but they've all got their mainsails up, just to steady things a little bit, just to stop all the rolling side to side. Basically, I had my mainsail up earlier on, then I put it away again, and it's a right faff. It's quick and easy to to set the mainsail, to raise the mainsail, but it's a right faff to sort of tidy it away again afterwards. You've got all these sail ties to deal with, trying to wrap it up vaguely, sort of not neatly, because you can do that when you stop, when you're in port. But yeah, it's a bit of a performance. So lazy jacks, I think, will be the way to go. But yeah, so I had an idea, and it seems to be working, is to just move sides and reduce the area of the Genoa even more, and then really flattened it out. Really winched it in and flattened it out, and that now seems to be having the same or similar effect to just having the mainsail raised, just to steady things a bit. So yeah, I'm going to go with that, and go with that for a few hours, or an hour or so, and see how we go. But yeah, the sea is calming down now, thankfully. So we've got 2 more hours to run to Weymouth now. Just sort of, it's been a bit of a roller coaster afternoon. Morning was very calm. Too calm. Well, no, it was fine, and then this afternoon's been a bit of a roller coaster, but not enough wind to sail. Yeah, the sea conditions have been, I don't know, I mean, they would be described as moderate, but you know, it's a bit of a roller coaster ride. Over there you can't really see, but over there are the Shambles, which are off Portland. You're advised to give them a wide berth, so I've given them about 6 miles off. Or there is an inshore route that you can take, but that's sort of better done with local knowledge kind of thing. So yeah, 2 more hours to run. There's another boat up there with the same idea as me. They've just got the foresail up, and I presume the motor as well, and they look as if they're heading into Portland/Weymouth as well. I'm just looking out now for an east cardinal mark, and then as soon as I've seen that and passed that, I will turn left and go into Weymouth. But it's still a couple of hours away. So yeah, more from the anchorage. Look at this. Isn't it beautiful? Well, after today's roller coaster ride, and it was also a roller coaster ride after I turned the corner to sort of enter Portland Bay. I don't even know if it's called Portland Bay, but this big bay that Portland Harbour is in. And I'll be honest, I had a bit of a panic because the conditions were really quite rough, and I called Portland Marina to see if they had a berth free, which they very kindly checked and let me know that they did have a berth free, and I was a bit cheeky and said, I hope you don't mind me going to have a look at the anchorage first and see what the anchorages are like. So there, across there, you won't see it very well because it's so far away, is Portland Marina, which is extremely busy. You often end up having to raft to another boat there, so you have to walk across their boat to get to the pontoon to get anywhere, which to my way of thinking is horrible. And apparently sometimes they're 6 deep rafting in Portland. I mean, it wouldn't be right now, but peak season it probably would. Weymouth is over there. Now you can anchor over there, but they've got, I don't know what they're racing, some sort of small sailboat racing going on, so I didn't really want to sort of start interfering with all that and having a look at the anchorages that you can have over there. But look at this, it's absolutely beautiful. Normally nobody would come and anchor here because over there is where all the weather's usually coming from, but tonight the weather is going to be, or the wind is going to be veering from northwest through to northeast, so it's going to be basically coming from over there to over there. In other words, I'm really nicely sheltered from it all. The anchor seems to be dug in. We're only in 5.5 metres or so, but the tidal range is very unusual here. It's a really small tidal range. There's only a range of about 2 metres or something between high and low tide, and at the moment it's just about high tide, so that's going to drop to about 3.5 metres, which is fine, because the boat draws 1.2, so that leaves plenty underneath the boat. And yeah, what a lovely pleasant end to the day. Tomorrow, all being well, it's off to Gosport. A little bit different tomorrow because I'm not going to be going across a big expanse of water like across the Bristol Channel or across Lyme Bay or across Cardigan Bay or anything like that. So it'll be a little bit more sort of close to the coastline, a bit more scenic maybe. There's some really big ships out here as well. Yeah, anyway, lovely end to the day.